is so fast, and I'm gonna take you traveling the world. But I can love you, yeah, I'm gonna love you. I'll give you all of what I've got, the fancy things, baby, I have not. Just gonna love you, yeah, I'm gonna love you. I'm gonna love you, babe. Cross my heart and hope to die. Golden trinkets, mobile phone, expensive shoes, you can get your own. Just gonna love you, yeah, I'm gonna love you. Just gonna love you, yeah, I'm gonna love you. I'm gonna love you, babe. Cross my heart and hope to die. the blues out in the dirt. Down in the dirt. I've been a real bad boy on the town all night. Starting to calm down with the morning light. I'm in the dirt, down in the dirt. Been real bad.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Child of Mecha live stream. I'm your host, Tim, the one and only Child of Mecha. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. And, hey, it's Monday, right? Welcome back. Start to a brand new week. Now, for those of you watching over on the Mecha Army Facebook group, you may not necessarily be aware of a tradition that the folks on YouTube happen to do. What they do is like 3 minutes out or so, they'll put in the chat and they'll guess kind of what t-shirt I'm wearing, right? Because I usually wear one of my t-shirts. If you are interested in taking up that tradition, Mecha Army Facebook page or Facebook group, please by all means go ahead and have fun with it. Usually starts at about the 3-minute mark on the timer, and people put in their guesses. So have at it, yeah. But it looks like nobody got it on YouTube. We're rocking the Chibi airdrop tonight. So what's going on, everybody? Looks like my boy Donnie. He's over there on probably on my Facebook page. What's going on, Donnie? He says, "Good evening, Mr. Mecha." What's going on, man? Yeah. So good weekend. Didn't get much done, unfortunately, on the model. But we got a little bit done, just a little bit. It was a busy weekend. So here, let's just get business out of the way, and then we'll kind of move into all that good stuff, shall we? Yeah. So if you want one of these awesome airdrop chibis, illustrated by my good friend, Mr. Corey DeYonker, Links53 over there on Instagram. Go check him out. Go get you a chibi. He does commissions for a very, very reasonable price. So definitely go do that, yeah? But if you want one of these t-shirts, www.childofmecha.com, hit the store button up at the top. You'll find shirts and hats and all sorts of other cool stuff on there. Go stock up. Get you some. After that, if you are interested in any of the tools and materials that we are working with here tonight, there is a little Amazon link just here below on YouTube and Twitch. That side, if you're watching on Facebook, go hit that up too. There's some cool stuff in there. Constantly adding stuff as well. I get a little bit of a commission based off of stuff that you buy, but it doesn't increase the charge for you, but it does all go back to help out the stream, obviously. So go and peruse it. There's books and stuff like that in there for inspiration. There is cool streaming gear if you want to get into it. I know there have been a few of you have messaged me on the back end saying, "Hey, I want to get into it. I want to get into it. Let's get into it." So there you go. That's a good resource, right? And as well, if you need model kits, paints, accessories, materials, stuff like that, Mecha Decals, sheets 1 and 2. Sheet 2 is now available for pre-order right down here. Our good friends at USA Gundam Store, Adam and the fine folks down there, will definitely have what you need. So, George wants to know, is the Child of Mecha book available yet? No. I haven't even started really working on it. I mean, technically, I have a cover for it. A cover concept. And it's kind of like a throwback to some kind of DIY books of yesterday. And I like it. I think you guys are going to like it too. Hopefully you get it, right? I know George will get it because George is, kind of older. I am as well. So we'll recognize the concept of it. So you young whippersnappers may not, but I don't really give a shit. Whatever. Anyway, let's see. Julius Dembski, Sarge, what's going on, buddy? He says Tim should link up with some college and offer this stream as a college elective class so we can get college credits. I'm just saying, win-win, right? I mean, if a college is willing to pay me, then by all means I would totally do it, right? Andrin Hisaki Artie's over there on YouTube. He says, is it called The One and Only? No. Fudebe always says Bob Vila is on the book cover. I mean, you're to answer the question or statement or whatever, no, Bob Vila is technically not on the cover, but you're kind of getting into that flavor, if you will, for the cover art. Yeah. So, but you'll see that at a much later date than soon. Anyway, Hisaki Handren says, you're just 2 years older than me. Then you might get it, Handren. I don't know. You might get it. George says, not older, old. Dude, you're only as old as you think you are. Trust me. You're not that old. Anyway. All right. So, with that being said, let's get into it, shall we? Let's go to camera 2. Boom. Here we go. Now, last week when we were shaping the knee for the Jesta, we were working with the Dremel and grinding and all that stuff, and I was having a hard time, with the hose, kind of trying to maintain a clean work area, right? So someone in the chat, and I forget who, unfortunately, had suggested to create a clamp for the hose, right? So I actually did. I went ahead and took that advice, and let me show you. It's just really kind of simple and kind of jerry-rigged, but it works, right? So this right here, it's just a simple spring clamp, right? And this will hook, this will connect to the tabletop here, and then just drilled a hole through it, popped a little piece of Velcro strip on there with a little machine screw and a nut through there, and yeah, you got yourself, put a little tape there to make it easy to peel off and on, and yeah, so you got a little clamp here now for the hose, and it works pretty damn well. So we might actually break this out and use this tonight if we get a chance. I don't know. Depends on how depends on what I'm kind of feeling we should work on, right? Because I'm kind of all over the place at this point, right? There's a few different things that that I'm currently exploring, shall we say. But we'll just kind of take it where the feeling guides us, shall we say. Yeah? Sounds good. Anywho, let's see. Shelly's over there on YouTube, checking in from Dubai. What's up, Shelly? Henry says, I bet I missed it. Going back. I bet it has Tim with a big afro holding a brush palette. The cover of the book. Not quite. Not quite, but let's see. Ricky Paul Carlson. No, George, you're younger than me. Try 50 now. What? Whoa. I didn't know that. Wow. Hey, like I said, you're only as old as you think, right? Only as old as you think. Let's see. Fudibo always says, Tim's Bob Ross custom NECA build featured inside. Yeah, right. Nice. All right. Everyone calm down. Manny's here. George says, young souls. Yes. There you go. Chris Pabs. Hello. What's all this then? Man, he's breaking out the British. Whoo, boy. Chris, you better watch. You're gonna let your secret out there, buddy. Anyway. Justin Coates, he's over there on the Mecha Army Facebook group. He says, if Tim's on the cover in Bob Ross cosplay, I'll take 3. No, that will not happen. Absolutely not. Let's see. Now, Chris R. I wanted to scroll back up. He said, oh, Tim, I told Corey you were interested in coming to Cybo again this year. He should be getting a time. Oh, sweet. Okay, so, very cool. A lot of things are starting to shape up this year, guys. With like appearances already and stuff like that, right? So the year started off great, going to Dubai, meeting everybody out there. So it's definitely starting to ramp up this year with appearances and stuff like that. So had several people get in contact with me thus far and ask me if I wanted to attend things and stuff like that. So nothing is 100% official yet, but expect cool things. That's all I can say, right? So, anywho, all right. So, let's see. Last we were together. Zoom in. We were working on the knee. I got both of those big old notches done there, and you can kind of see them. Yeah, look at that. That's actually pretty damn good. You can see them both there in all of their notchy glory. Yeah? So, looking pretty damn good. Pretty good. Yeah. So, hey, Mike Tagaro is over there. What's going on, Mike? We met Mike over in Dubai. He says, nice to see you again. Shout out Mecca. Hey. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thank you for hanging out. That's awesome. Yeah, Chris R. says Sabaton Con in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona, September 9th to September 7th of this year, a little later in the year. So good stuff there. Had a few people post on the Mecha Army Facebook page, and if you're not a member of the Mecha Army Facebook page yet, what are you waiting for? Just do it. Go join, please. But I had a few people post on there about, hey, when's GBWC getting announced, for locations and stuff like that. So, just real quick, usually, if memory serves correct, we usually don't hear much about it until like May, right? So we were a couple months off still from hearing updates, right? Now, I do know for a fact right now that Bluefin is in the process of confirming all of the local locations for the different local GBWC competitions, the ones being held at, places like Hobbytown and Kinokuniya bookstores and other, hobby stores around the nation and stuff. In addition, obviously, to the conventions that we're all familiar with. So hang tight. I know y'all are chomping at the bit. George isn't, but that's just his thing. We love you, George. But I know a lot of you are chomping at the bit. You want to enter and everything like that, and that's amazing to see. I love seeing that. So just, I know it's hard. Just be patient. Bluefin will let us know. Yeah? Bluefin will let us know. So, and if I hear anything, of course I will let you know. Right? Anyway. All right, so let's see. Yeah, George is like, GBW, what? I know. It's like, it literally for George is like a 4-letter word. Like a 4-letter naughty word, right? Super, super funny seeing George talk about GBWC, and he's just like, I hate GBWC. Blah, blah, blah. It's awesome. Because, like, I totally get it. I absolutely 100% get it, right? And if you haven't seen George's live streams over on Instagram sometimes, go check him out. Old School Gunpla. Just awesome watch. But George is not the competitive type, and it is kind of, George, it is kind of funny, kind of seeing you ramble on about GBWC. But it is heartwarming at the same time. Trust me, because I know your heart's in the right place. I know it is. So that is a fact. Anywho, all right. So a couple different things, like I said, a lot of things in the frying pan right now, right? So we're working on the knee. We're still detailing that, right? I went ahead and shaved off the side, and we're working on these new, gear pieces and stuff like that. And then, to top all that off, we decided to swap out the Jesta arms with the Sinanju Stein arms. Now, one of the things about the mounting points for the Sinanju Stein as opposed to the Jesta is the Sinanju Stein is the complete opposite of the Jesta when it comes to connections and things like that, right? And as you can see, it's about 3 or 4 millimeters longer, which honestly, it's not a big deal in the grand scheme of things, right? Because I think I can get probably about 3 millimeters back in terms of modifications and stuff like that. So in reality, the Sinanju Stein arm will end up only being about 1 millimeter longer. So that's pretty good in all things considered. But the biggest hurdle that we're going to have to jump is the connection points, because as you can see, the Jesta's arm is a socket where the Sinanju arm is a peg, right? And then the shoulder mounting point here for the Sinanju Stein is a peg as well, where in comparison to the Jesta, it is also a socket, right? So what that gives us here is a peg on the upper body for that to pop into, right? But peg on peg action, that's not going to work for us. That is not going to work whatsoever. So we have to devise a solution to overcome this obstacle. It's going to take a little finesse, and it's going to take a lot of finagling. So it's just one of those things. Now, the possibility of making the Jesta body into a socket style is kind of not feasible because this part here that folds out is rather thin. So making that into a socket that's not gonna really happen, unfortunately. And I just got that part stuck, didn't I? Yep, I did. That's okay. We can get it unstuck. Not a big deal. These pieces just pop off, and then where's my little pointer? There it is. Just kind of jimmy that back into place, and there it is. Easy peasy. Dunzo, right? Brandon5269 says, Tim, what time you don't like yeah. Brandon, I'm not going to repeat that. That is just crass. Anyway. So what we need to do is to devise a way to... Oh, and one thing is that the Sinanju shoulders, they don't fit at all in the Jesta's shoulders. So those are out of the question, right? So we will have to use the Jesta shoulder points and then connect them somehow with the Sinanju Stein upper arm. So that's another obstacle that we're running into, right? But I think once we get that, once we jump those hurdles, I think it'll be fine. Yeah, I think it'll be fine. Now, in terms of weaponry, right? Let's talk about weaponry real quick because we haven't really spoken on that all that much, right? The Origin has this nice little rifle there, and then the more traditional beam rifle there, and then as well, it's got the fancy schmancy bazooka, right? So it's got a full-on arsenal to to utilize, right? And then of course, you've got the shield. That's pretty good, right? Now the version K or version KA, for those of you that are real sticklers about it, does not include the Fetty Cross. It's just a blank red front shield, and then you put the white base markings and stuff like that on there, right? So I think we're going to go in a little bit of a different route for the shield, right? We're not going to use the standard kind of hexagonal shield. What we're going to use is this right here. We, my friends, are going to use the GM Sniper 2 shield. Yeah, that's badass. Yeah, that's awesome. I have loved this shield since it came out with the GM Quell, or Kell, or however the hell you say it. But when the GM Sniper 2 came out, they just upped the ante for the design and everything like that, and I think it's just awesome. So we're going to use that, but then also what we're going to do is we're going to harken back to the Jesta, and we're going to use the mounting arm on its shield. We're gonna toss that off to the side, and we're gonna mount this somehow to that, and then connect that to the backpack. So it's going to have, a Jesta kind of feel to it, but it's definitely going to be in the same vein as an RX, yeah? Which I think is going to be awesome, by the way. So all of this mix of things, this just kind of remix of aesthetics and stuff like that, I think it's going to be really cool, and I'm kind of looking forward to this. Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to this. And then also too, where is that Jester? Right. Oh, here, look at this. Check this out. This is actually the old GM Quell shield right here. Look at that. I didn't even know I had that up there, but I guess I did. But what's real funny is the difference in looks, right? Look at these two kind of side-by-side comparison, and let's just look at that. Man, it's pretty wild to see the difference between the two, right? You know what? Now that I'm looking at it, I'm kind of liking the size difference, because the size of the GM Quell shield is wider and longer. I'm kind of liking the size of that thing. Decisions to be made. I don't know. We'll jump that hurdle when we come to it, though. But that's just kind of what's rattling on in my head right now, you guys. Just, thinking about things, thinking about different looks, thinking about aesthetics, thinking about how to remix different things, to take it away from the Jesta and give it to the RX, right? Because we don't want this thing to be completely RX, but we don't want this thing to be completely Jesta either. We want a weird mix of the two, right? But once we get to the end, once we get to paint, it's going to be all traditional RX paint. So I think this is going to shape up to be pretty damn cool. I'm excited about this, and I'm happy. I'm happy that I went in this direction. Yeah. Even though, yes, the Gelgoog would have been awesome, and will be, I should say, will be awesome, because I'm going to jump back to that at some point in the future, right? But this is just going to be badass. This is going to be badass. And I'm really, really liking the progress so far. Even though it's even still that it's early, right? Even still that it's early. So let's get, I know a few of you had some questions. Let's get caught back up in the chat. So rather than me rambling on here. Let's see. Spider2K2 said, James 2.0 is really loving how those knees are turning out. Thank you, James. Appreciate that, buddy. Let's see. Aeon Mecha? I don't know. Aeon, I hope I'm saying that correctly. I apologize if I'm not. But they say, in my country, GBWC 2020 will be tough. QOZ, a lot of Pro Master doing comeback. Yeah, man. A lot of the big boys are coming back, man. It's just... it's going to be lights out building here. So, but, yeah, we'll see. We will see, right? Best of luck, man. Let's see. Brandon5269 says, I feel like a long gun would look better, at least a little longer than the Origin one on the bottom. Nah. Because you have to think that the RX never had a rifle, so to speak, right? He just had, kind of this beam rifle, but I'm talking about a longer rifle, right? To deviate from that would be to steer off the course that I'm already on. So I'm just not, I'm not feeling that particular direction right now. But good thought, yeah. Superset5, he's over there on Twitch. He says, question.
We have a question.
Are you going to kit bash the Verka rifle with the Jester rifle? Haha, yeah. So, and I was looking for the Jester rifle, and I think it's, I think it's over there, that way, in my studio. Yeah, I think it is. Hang on, stay there, don't move. found it. So yeah, so here you can kind of see the three of them together. And let's get that just a arm out of there. And you can kind of see the three together, right? And what I'm thinking at this point is to take the body, most of the body of the Jesta's rifle, and probably cut off the front barrel and swap one of these barrels onto it. Obviously, you have to add the scope and in replacement to the sight on that, and we might have to reshape the clip. But yeah, all ideas at this point. Everything right now is still on the table in terms of that. But yes, there will be a certain level of kit bashing between these three. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. That will be done. Let's see. Johnny's over there. Johnny, what's up, man? He's over there on Facebook. He says, hello, Tim. About the shoulder, you could 3D print the just a torso part, a little more thicker walls. Yeah, but that would be against the rules of GBWC if I 3D printed it, and I'm not about to do that. But definitely a good thought there. But he said, and replace the shaft with a female connection or more easy mod one with plow plate and cast it. Yeah. Yeah. Trust me, I have thoughts about how to connect everything up. So we're definitely in business, not to worry. Let's see. Brandon wants to know, Tim, do you have the Olfa hobby saw? I do not. No, I have other hobby saws, so I don't need the Olfa one per se. Anywho, Johnny says an RX Justa then. Yeah, right. Bry Guy says Tim likes his shield's thick. Yeah, well, Julio, Mr. Clip and Nubs, I missed the Gelgoog. It'll come back, not to worry. George says, Tim, do you feel this new direction is superior to your original Gelgoog concept? I would say technically no. And neither one, I think, is better than the other, because I think the original concept would have been really, really good. But seeing what I saw in Japan in December, the original concept and the theme behind it probably would not have gone over well. Now, obviously, I'm putting many, many carts before the horse. Need to win US first, right? But, the thing is that if you're going to build for Japan. That's all there is to it. If you're going to build for Japan. Build like you're already going. So, that's the intent. And that's not just me. That's like a lot of modelers. Like, we had some pretty deep conversations about it. Zach and me, Nico from Japan, Aaron Simons from Australia. We all kind of had some pretty interesting conversations, and yeah, we were all kind of the same mind. When you build, you got to build for Japan. Especially those of us that have been lucky enough to go there previously. Me and Aaron. You have to take into account the world competition, not just the national competition, right? So it's just one of those things. You have to build for Japan. So like I said, seeing what I saw, this concept I think will go over with the judges better than my original concept. So, but yeah, c'est la vie, right? C'est la vie. Let's see. Some people would say it's compromising my ideals. Not really. Not really. It's think about it. This is a competition, obviously. Think about it like NASCAR or something like that. It's a terrible example, but think about this. You tune the car to the track that you're driving, right? And no two tracks are the same, but you tune the car to the track. That's what we're doing. We're tuning the model to the competition. So there you go. Let's see. Brandon says that is more what I was talking about. The bottom gun physical length, not necessarily a sniper rifle. Sorry. Hendron says you better have the final look a bit dreamy and flashy to get the total score for creativity. That's what the judges there crave. Yeah, I've got another idea for that as well. Not to worry. Thomas Christopher Staten, he's over there on the Mecha Army Facebook group. He says, I want to start casting my own high-grade parts. How do you suggest I start? We forgot this. Sorry, Thomas.
We have a question.
Hey. He says, plus, is there a special process to melting down runners? First and foremost, you definitely don't want to melt down runners because trying to melt plastic is a funny business, and it's full of toxic fumes, so you want to avoid that completely. That is not a really good idea. But in terms of casting, yes, resin casting and things like that. We've touched it a little bit on it, on some of the previous live streams and stuff, and I've shown, these guys right here, these greebly plates that I made. These are just a 1-part dump mold, and then you just fill this with resin, level it back a bit, and you've got great little greeblies and stuff like that, right? That's a simple way to resin cast things. But then if you're thinking about resin casting more complex parts, obviously you're going to want to get into 2-part casting. So that is a little bit more in depth than what we can share on the stream, but lucky enough, there are plenty of videos on YouTube that will kind of walk you down that path. And then also in the future, I have plans on kind of doing my own resin casting series because I feel that I could cater the topic to, more of what we run into, obviously, because most of the videos on YouTube and stuff like that, the tutorials on there are somewhat, some of it is not going to be very valuable for us. Not to say that it's not valuable. It's just some of the topics just really don't apply to us, right? Because we're working with small parts, right? But in terms of materials, I use Smoothcast. Thomas, if you look at the Amazon link in the description on the on the stream over here, you're gonna find my Amazon page, and I do have a section there for resin casting ideas and stuff like that on there. I use Smoothcast 305 and then also 310, which is a slow cure resin, and then Umu 30, which is the mold rubber. That's what this stuff is. So it's a 2-part 1-to-1 mix. It hardens up, and you get basically something like that, right? So, I will say this: jumping into it, there is a learning curve that you do have to overcome. You're probably going to waste a lot of material in the beginning, but that's normal. So, FYI, yeah. So good questions. Rushlam, Bill, he's over there. He says, I get what you mean, but I'm just going to build for me and hope others like my style. Totally, yeah, I totally get it. And people differ in that opinion, right? I'm not necessarily compromising my style because my style is going to remain the same. I'm just altering the theme of altering the theme of my of my build. That's really it. So, let's see. Garrett Tucker, he's over there on Facebook. He says, just a different level over there. USA has to start flexing. Yeah. Shut up. Alexa. Cancel. Cancel. Here, let's do this. Let's just shut her up. There you go. We turned her off. So, yeah, when I read that, Alexa blew up at me, so I muted her. Anyway, yeah, I think for the most part the US is coming up. There's a lot of people trying a lot of new different skills, and I'm really happy to see that. But I think we can go further. I think we can push each other in that direction to, really make a statement, So, let's see. Chris R says, drag racing, tune the car for the track and weather to optimize effectiveness. Exactly. Brandon says, I don't think adapting a game plan to better compete is changing your morals or ideas. It is a competition after all. That is very true. Bry Guy says they should implement judges from different backgrounds and accreditation. I can't say that word. So that all complete builds are not taken without a bias of any sorts. In Japan, they are, because you get Kawaguchi, you get Big Guy Kawaguchi, the president of Bandai, not related to the other Kawaguchi. You get the editor from Hobby Japan. You also get the editor from Model Graphics. And then you usually get a guest judge. So there's usually 4 or 5 judges, depending on the year, because sometimes it has varied, right? And they're all very qualified. So I have zero issue with the judges in Japan. Yeah. Nothing. John Lynn, creeping freely for you, says, hey, Tiny Tim. What's up, Helen? Helen Keller over here. She needs a miracle. Brandon says, Julio, I can picture a diorama of the G40 sitting on a big rock daydreaming and having a thought bubble above it thinking about a perfect grade. Yeah, hey, why not? Ruslan Bill says, I am not saying to cater to the judging paradigm. I am saying that with my first entry, I'm focusing on building for myself rather than anything. I want to enjoy the experience. Absolutely. Trust me, I'm enjoying the experience. I dig this direction. So please don't get me wrong. I actually dig this better than the previous theme. So please don't get it twisted, you guys. I think we're in the right direction. I think so. Let's see. Everybody's Alexa's going off. Sorry. Henry says, as long as we have the mechanical and battle diorama mindset, I don't think we can go far by how the Japanese judges views at the finals. Somewhat. That's why I'm kind of looking to take this in a bit of a new direction for me anyway, right? I think at the end of the day, the paint and everything will be very airdrop-like, but the composition will be obviously different from what I have done in the past. This will be more in line with really like a diorama more than anything, but I think the direction that I have things and the layout of how I'm going to display it, I think will be interesting. Let's put it that way, right? So, Kenneth Sim, we just bought Chopper 2 over the weekend. Been trying out, but the cut anything from 1 millimeter and the results get a 5-degree angle. Was it the blade or Kenneth? There's a lot there, man. So. You lost me kind of midway through. I'm sorry. But it sounds like what you're getting, what you're trying to do is cut thicker material. And the chopper wasn't really made for that. The chopper was really made for thinner material. So like 1 millimeter and under, maybe 1.5, but then you're kind of getting in the weeds. But yes, any thicker than that, you're going to see blade deflection, and you're going to see that kind of wobble, that 5-degree angle, like you had said. So I think that's what you're meaning. But yeah, so that's kind of what I'm thinking, anyways. Anywho, Brandon says, I think having 49 states compete this year will help stimulate more people to build, as well as bring out the best work in people. I hope so. Fingers crossed, right? James, Spider2K2, so I'm planning on starting my MosquitoCon entry Thursday. I got time before April. Yes, I fully plan on attending MosquitoCon this year, James, so I will see you up there. Let's see. Bishop Mochi, he's over there, or she is over there. Probably he. Over there on Twitch, there's always going to be an element of subjectivity to this type of judging. It's the creative art aspect. 100%, yeah. No, I agree with you. 100%. The thing with GBWC, you guys, is that half of it is skill, half of it is luck, right? Because if you look in the past, from the past GBWC winners, what you're going to notice is an ebb and flow in direction, right? Back in 2015, 16, 17, you had your very, very artistic dioramas and stuff like that, especially from Win, which I always give them a hard time about. But before that, you kind of had hardcore mechanical looks from folks like from Ide Ying and from Shunegi and folks like that. Very, very, very highly technical builds, but then it shifted in about 2015, 2016 when Win entered, won world champion with a long night, or I think that's what the name of it was. But he kind of swung that pendulum back in the artistic direction. Now it is starting to swing back more a little bit into the more mechanical kind of area, right? Because if you look at last year's winner, the Exia in that kind of spaceport thing with the crazy forced perspective build on it, and it's just really, really incredible and very, very technical, right? And then you look at this year, that build was pretty damn technical as well. If you really took the time to look at it up and down, a lot of the things that the builder did was highly, highly technical. Now, mind you, he displayed it in more of an artistic, ethereal, dreamy type of composition. But a lot of the techniques that he did, a lot of the techniques that he incorporated were very, very technical, especially the scratch building of the fish, that kit bashing aspect in things, the scribing, especially on a lot of those panels, and a lot of the modifications on, the mech itself were very, very technical. So you do, like I said, you have an ebb and flow, right? So just one of those things. Jolin says, correct yourself, Tim. Jellin Jeller. Jellin Jeller! Sorry. I'm sorry, you guys. It's totally an inside joke, but it's damn funny. Brandon says, if you need to cut that thick, try to cut halfway through, flip it over, cut the rest the half of the way. Yeah. So we're getting back to Kenneth Sim, yeah. And Ruslan chimed in as well. Chopper is not meant for thick plastic over 1 to 1.5 millimeter. You should score and snap rather than use the chopper. 100%. And Kenneth Sim says we'll try that. So that seems to be kind of the issue with Kenneth. So that's good. That's good. Hopefully we got Kenneth on the right path there, right? Handren Hasaki already over there on YouTube. He says, we need an Orazaku or an equivalent of it in the West. Oh, man. Handren, you don't know how much I agree with you, brother. I have been wanting something like that for years, right? Now, for those of you that are not necessarily familiar with what Orazaku is, it is another competition held in Japan, and unfortunately right now it's only open to select Asian countries. Before it was Japan only, 100% Japan only, right? But since, its inception years ago, I think they've opened it up to China, Hong Kong, and a few other select Asian countries. And I'm going to tell you what, some of the best models in the world come from that particular competition. Extremely technical stuff most of the time. Very little diorama work, very little creative work, and really what it comes down to is the craftsmanship of your build, which I really respect and love. And that's kind of, my wheelhouse, so to speak, right? But yeah, Orazaku. If you're not familiar with it, obviously go and Google it. ORA, and then Zaku, like it's like a normal ZAKU, right? Yeah, just some really incredible builds out of that competition. Super stuff. Excuse me. But let's see. Fudube always says the West needs to invade Orazaku. If only, man, if only. Let's see. Another late night. Thank you, Chris. Yes, that was Wynn's World Championship build back in 16? 15. It was in 15. Let's see. Mark Reps over there on Facebook. He says, speaking of the chopper, I was up at my local hobby shop and I got excited when I saw the name until I flipped it over and saw that it was the first gen model and it was not the one you have. Yeah. That's the real shitter of it, isn't it? Yeah, the chopper one is not good. Let's just get it right out there. The chopper one is not good because it is made from MDF, medium density fiberboard. Now, what happens is that the swing arm is made of metal and it's screwed into that MDF, and over time, because I know I had the chopper one before, that swing arm will start to wobble and loosen up back and forth. So you're going to get deviation. You're not going to get a 90-degree cut every single time. So the chopper one is absolute crap. So out of that. Definitely the chopper 2, because it's cast aluminum, is the way to go. It's 100% solid parts. There's no chance of deviation on that swing arm. So yeah, one of those things. That's disappointing, right? But again, Northwest Short Line is still ramping up their production. So, Mark, I would say, keep checking back, because they should have stock rolling out soon, right? George wants to know who sponsors Orazaku. I'm not 100% sure on that. I think it's just kind of an open style competition. Orazaku may be its own entity, as far as I know. Yeah, it's been going on for, I want to say over 20 years at this point. I remember looking at the special Hobby Japan issues usually in January or February, of all the Orazaku entries and stuff like that, and just seeing some really crazy stuff, right? Just absolutely amazing. So, yeah. Here's an idea. Damn it. Here's an idea. What we're gonna do, we are going to take a sabbatical. We're gonna take a field trip, if you will, you guys. We're gonna take a field trip back in time. We're gonna go back and we're gonna look at those Hobby Japans from back in the day. Okay? So, what I need you to do is stay right there. Don't move, because I'm going to be right back. And we're going to take that magical carpet ride into the past. We're going to see some Orazaku goodness for a change. Yeah? Stay right there. right, kids, here we go. Thank you for hanging out and occupying yourselves while I took a bit of a field trip myself, right? All right, so, boom. Ooh, here we go. Yeah, look at this. So, this first one here, this is from 2001, right? Look at that bad boy. And here, let's do that. There we go. Get rid of that glare, shall we? Let's get zoomed in just a bit. Fill up that screen nice and there we go. So this is a custom gun cannon from June. This is June 2001. So probably half. You know, it looks like it varied when they did their coverage, but this was kind of one of the first Orizaku entries that just really kind of hit for me, right? Let's get into this here, and I'll show you why. All right. Let's get just a little bit more zoomy action here, yeah? But you have to think, this is 2001, right? 19 years ago. They didn't have nearly the resources and types of things that we have today, right? Option parts, virtually non-existent. Photo etch, again, non-existent. Chisels didn't exist back then. A lot of the things that we take for granted today weren't around in 2001. So the level of modeling that it took to take the master grade gun cannon to this is astounding, right? But let's kind of look at this a little bit more in depth, yeah? Look at this thing. Got these crazy cannons, right? And if you look at this deal here, right? And back in the day, what they would do, they used to have what are called Alps printers, which were dry printers. You know, they came with a ribbon on them, and you could print your own custom decals, right? Very, very big back in Japan, and that's what kind of all of, or I should say probably most of all of this decal here probably was. They were all probably custom-made decals on an old Alps printer. But just look at some of the detailing and stuff like that here. These little rockets and just the, these little kind of strut kind of bars and stuff like that. These little kind of dart ammunition, little tips there, probably metal and stuff like that. Just really, really amazing work for the time frame, right? Look at this stuff. It's absolutely jaw-dropping for the time frame, yeah? And this right down here, this is the grid. This is the judging grid that they that Orizaku judges on. I couldn't tell you what any of it means, but hey, what are you gonna do, right? And look at this. This part for me is what kind of just really hit home, right? If you look at the elbow joint, it's all little segmented parts, all stacked together on these little metal rods, right? And they just bend. And he designed the joint, look at this. He designed the joint in such a way that those flex, but that rod stays rigid. 2001, guys. 2001. Right? Crazy stuff. The level of flexibility in this model. Look at the neck joint, right? Look at the inner detail here, just on the inside of that cannon cradle, right? Just outstanding stuff for the date, This pose right here, that's what I remember completely about this particular build. The amazing amount of posability and flexibility in a build from 2001. I cannot stress that enough. 2001, almost 20 years ago. Almost 20 years. Amazing stuff. And there it is in the raw form. I mean, a lot of this, he either scratch built or just custom built or what have you. Insane stuff. And this is the champion of Orazaku that year. Right? This here is second place. Second place. Look at the astounding amount of detail just in this beam saber hilt. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Right? And the level of sculpting, and you look at it. Where's my little pointer? There it is. You look at the level of sculpting in the hand guards and in the elbow guards here, and then especially around the collar. It's just absolutely mind-boggling. Yeah? Absolutely mind-boggling. So, and then all sorts of other little kind of small details in this thing, right? Look at just the leg treatment and look at the lower skirts here. This is all very kind of, you know, Asian-inspired samurai-ish kind of look, right? But then you look at the feet and the ankle armor treatment and everything. And if I'm certain that's not how it looks on I think this is a high grade. I think this is a 144 even. I don't think that this is I don't think the master grade had come out at this point. I could be wrong though, honestly. I don't honestly remember. But another thing is to look at this. Look at the shield. The shield even has an amazing little sculpture on it, right? A little angel sculpture. And you can kind of see that right here. Look at this. On the back of the head, there's kind of this trailing sculpt back there, almost like a kind of decoration or something, right? It's nuts, you guys. Absolutely nuts. And this is, you have to remember, this is second place. Second place. He did all this work, and he got second place in 2001, right? Second place. Let's see. Here is, this is, what is this? This looks like, maybe 1/100? I don't see a scale. Yeah, definitely 1/100 from what it looks like on the joints. But if you are familiar with the old 1.0, this is completely 100% reproportioned. Look at how big the mono eye slit is, right? That head has been completely reproportioned. The shoulders are reproportioned. The width of the chest is reproportioned. The width of the waist and the skirts and everything completely reproportioned. The legs, look how thick those thighs are. There's some thick ass thighs, right? But everything on this build has been completely and utterly reproportioned and modified for movement and flexibility. Crazy. Crazy. That's third place. Here's fourth place. An unassuming Zagok, right? Or so you would say. But if you look over here, that's the amount of work that went into this thing. A lot of work. A lot of work, right? And let's see. Dendrobium. An Aqua Gundam. Look at this. Zaccarello. That, my friends, is a pretty damn awesome Zaccarello. I'm not going to lie. And it's a heartbreaker. How cool is that? Right? Completely custom. Look at that thing. It's wild. So these are the types of things that you can kind of come to expect from Orizaku. And mind you, again, this is 2001, you guys. Almost 20 years ago, right? So if you can find these old Hobby Japans and stuff like that. Oh, I remember this. This was a Master Grade GPO-1 that he completely modified into something just wildly different, right? Look at the wings on that backpack. That is so cool. The underslung sword and everything. Look at that. It was almost like a strike before the strike was even incepted, right? Just awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. And then, check this out. This is a Gok crab thing, right? How wild is that? That's super cool. So these are the types of things that you get from Orizaku, right? Look at this. Nice little diorama. DJ. Trying to reach out for the Dom. Yeah? And some other cool dios. Look at this. That's super crazy. Very expertly done. Just super, super cool stuff. Right? Super cool stuff. But, nice little G Gundam scene here. Gundam Spiegel going through something. And that, you can see that model is definitely sliced in an X kind of formation, right? Got the kind of a perfect Zeong there. You've got this wild Dom, almost like a Jupiter's Ghost type of thing. So, oh, look at this. This is wild. I remember this. This little squatty head kind of Dom, but completely reproportioned and everything is just wild. This cover scene from Stardust Memories with all the skulls and everything down there. The GPO-1 looking up at the GPO-2. Yeah. Super cool stuff. But anyway, June 2001, right? So 20 years ago, you guys. 20 years ago. So we're going to put that off to the side. Let's take a look at this. Here is August. This is 2002, right? Look at this, this GOG. How freaking wild is that? That's really, really cool. But let's get into it, yeah? Look at this guy. How wild is that? With these long arms and everything. Yeah? And look at this. Here, let's get you really zoomed in to try and see. This is the work that he put into it. So completely different body. The torso is different. The feet are from something else. I don't know what they're from. Maybe like an 80s style you know, model or something like that. The arms were extended, all these claws and everything. The body is different. Just wild stuff. Here's looks like second place. This was a an EWAC GM Quell. Look at this. That's wild. That's wild. But yeah, this is the old Master Grade. And for those of you that have built this Master Grade, it hasn't exactly stood up to the test of time. Let's be honest. Yeah? Let's be honest. Now, another model that has not stood up to the test of time is the original Master Grade Sazabi, the 1.0. Not the Verka. 1.0, right? But look at this. This actually doesn't look half bad for Sazabi 1.0. Because look at the amount of work and everything that went into this thing. This guy put a ton of work into this model. Right? You've got a nice little S Gundam there. Again, you keep in mind, this was converted. Oh, that'd be good if you could see it. This, and let's zoom out so you can kind of get the full picture. This is 1/60th scale, you guys. It's not 1/100, it's not 1/44. That's 1/60th scale. That's made from a converted perfect grade Zeta. Think about that for a second. Let that sink into your brain material. Yeah, man. A converted, and say it with me, a converted perfect grade Zeta to an S Gundam. Like, come on. Like, and this is 2002. This is 18 years ago. This model's old enough to drive. Crazy. So there's that, and then there's this right here, which is a kit bash between the Master Grade GM Quell and the Master Grade GM Custom. Very, very similar models, but they definitely had some distinct differences, especially in the elbow joints and stuff like that, the shoulders and all as well. But a very, very nice looking model, if I do say so. You've got a DJ here. And mind you, this is 1/100. That is a 1/100 DJ from 2002. Long before the RE100 ever came out or ever even was thought of, right? So this modeler converted whatever model this is. I can't tell. I see, you know, the abbreviation for Master Grade. I see MG, right? And I'm trying to look at this in progress pick and pick out little parts, but I'm having a lot of difficulty. It looks like the feet are from the Master Grade Zeta. And maybe some of the arm parts and stuff like that, but a lot of it is scratch built when it's you know, completely modified like this. It's crazy. Look at this Zoc. Crazy, right? Yeah, I'm not going to sit here, guys, and use Google Translate on stream. That's not going to happen. But thank you for the thoughts. I appreciate that. And this, you know, you get some really wild stuff like this thing, type G thingy. And then you get some really, really wild stuff like this right here. This gun cannon double Zeta. Okay, so just look at this. This big freaking gun cannon, look at that, transforms into that. A double Zeta gun cannon. Like, come on, man. Like, who's thinking of these things? And then look at this. Check this out. Lady Goof. How wild is that? Look at that. Completely thinned down, reproportioned into a slender, you know, much more female silhouette of the Goof, right? Look at that. Wild. Impressive stuff. And then you've got, look at this diorama here. Even if that's 144, it's just stupid impressive. So this is 30 by 30 by 80 centimeter, this thing. So I would imagine 80 centimeter tall. Crazy. Crazy stuff. And then you've got this right here, which looks like a completely scratch built, and you can see it down here, 1/20th scale Core Fighter and Amuro pilot. Look at this thing. Yeah, absolutely amazing stuff. Absolutely amazing stuff. And then you even get SDs in there. Look at this little SD, the TriStar's, you know, the Jet Stream Attack scene in SD. Come on. And then what's really wild is you get stuff like this, an SD wing Verka, and you have to keep in mind that I really don't think this was in existence back then. So whoever made this, Satoshi Nagahisa was the modeler's name down here at the bottom. Yeah, GFF, look at this, Silver Prize, SD class. Just, I mean, I'm speechless with a lot of these things. Look at this, little SDO, right? Another cool little Dio. The Gundam with a big MG. What is that? MG 42, I think that is. I don't know. And you look at this junior class back then. This kid looks maybe what, 7? So you tack on another 18 to that, so he's what, probably 25 now. Think about that for a second. And he made this really cool Sazabi. Man, just really awesome stuff in these issues, you know? Look at this. Full armor. This really cool Dom. Look at that. Just awesome. Just awesome stuff. So that is from August 2002, 18 years ago, right? So we bring it back to more modern times, and this was from 2017. Now, if you're not familiar with this Gira, what is it? Giradoga, Yacht Doga. Sorry. Then I don't know where you've been for the past several years, because this thing is amazing. Let's get full. This is made from a Sinanju Stein base, right? So this started life as a Sinanju Stein. This was before, I think, the Yakdoga RE100 came out. Quite honestly, I would take this over the RE. Just saying. But let's get into this. Let's see. Look at this thing. Oh, look at that. That's just great photography right there. I don't care who you are. That's awesome. Here we go. This is some big boy stuff right here. This is what Orazaku is about nowadays, right? This is the stuff that I want to compete with. Look at that. Let's just go full in and see these details, shall we? Let's see. Look at that. That's just mean looking. Just super, super mean looking. All of that sleeves treatment, completely custom done. And you can see there these little vents on here, which are signature Sinanju Stein, right? Just the treatment that he gave this thing, just super, super cool. Really awesome stuff. And then if you look at some of the other photos here, just absolutely jaw-dropping work. The level of detail and the attention to detail is just amazing. Yeah, this Kenneth Sim says, and this was before the RE100 kit released. Yeah, this was slightly beforehand, before that. Okay, so here is the in progress. I want to really show you guys what this looks like here, but for that we're gonna have to go super zoom. So let's do that here right quick. Yeah. Here we go. Now we're cooking. All right, so let's get all the windows back into play here. Yeah, we're going to have to be careful with framing. But look at that. Look at all that work, you know? Look at this. So you've got a Sinanju Stein base, you know, of the arms and the skirts and the main part of the body. But then you've got Gelgoog shoulders here. You've got Gelgoog upper legs here. You've got all sorts of scratch building and modifications in the knee area. You've got all of this base Sinanju Stein legged, but then you've got parts cut and shaped and everything on from the, you know, the Gelgoog over onto this to form that flare down at the bottom. Just man, I cannot express how impressed I am by this particular model, right? And then it just gets even better when you look at the back of it, right? And there you see those flares, you know, from the Gelgoog 2.0. You know, you see the work, the base from the Sinanju. You see the upper legs from the Gelgoog 2.0. You see the back skirts from the Sinanju Stein. Most of this backpack is from the Sinanju Stein, but then you've got scratch build treatments in the barrels and stuff like that, and you've got modifications done to the fuel tanks and the you know, the connection points and all that. And, you know, these forearms, these shields obviously are you know, are from another model. I don't know where exactly from, but definitely someplace else. But just a stupid amount, and look at how it all just came together with paint, right? No weathering, just super clean paint, nice color separation, beautiful decal work, and just look at how it all came together in one perfect model. Look at that. Just amazing, amazing work. Yeah? Just super cool. All right, let's get you out of super zoom here. And then we'll move on to some of the other models that placed in this in 2017, right? So there's that. Oh yeah, here we go. I followed this particular build very, very closely on Twitter, and it's a shame that there's no progress shots of this particular model in here, but a few things to take a look at, and it's probably better in this shot. That's all the way zoomed in. Where's my little pointer? Here we go. So a few things to take note on is this, let's see, this upper chest here is not from the Sazabi. That is a Camphor upper chest, right? And then he split off the upper chest pieces and widened that upper body, and then completely just gutted and remodified those shoulders, and then pretty much everything from you know, from the waist down too. Like the feet. Look at this. The feet. Let's see if we can get a good shot here. This toe portion is, if I remember correctly, completely scratch built. Some of the flares here on the leg are added on and completely scratch built. A lot of this is glued together, melded together, and just super, super modified. You look at the back here. The backpack, again, heavily modified, right? These fuel tanks are just really, really cool. Obviously, you know, these lower exhaust tips down here on both of those are from a Zeta Plus C1 master grade, right? Just a really, really amazing amount of work that went into this. So, I don't know off the top of my head, that what this particular modeler's Twitter handle is. If you guys know it, throw it in the chat so people can find them, right? But check this out. For you old school model lovers, look at this. How cool is this, right? This modeler took, obviously, a 1980s kit and modeled it in such a way to mimic the box art of the same kit. Wow. Right? It's just... And it's all done in perspective, too. Like, look, if you look at it from different angles, it's all perspective. Like, the hand is super huge. The shoulder and that arm is really, really big comparatively, because you can see it here in comparison to the rest of the body. Insane. And then down here, you've got basically the love child of 5 Star Stories and a Sazabi, which is just pretty damn awesome. Pretty damn awesome. Let's keep going, shall we? Look at this. Another... The whole crab Zagok theme just doesn't seem to go away, right? So this is... what is this? I guess this is like 4th place or something like that. 3rd or 4th? I think it's 4th. But the modeler used one of the shoulder shields from a Kshatriya on this. Really cool stuff. And here you've got what looks like a Freedom, but if you look closer, this is made from a Sinanju Stein. This is 1/100 scale. If you look at the arms especially, that is quintessential Sinanju Stein. And then the chest and everything is Sinanju Stein here. The head is a modified Sinanju Stein to make it look like, I'm guessing, the Freedom. I'm guessing this is the maybe an original piece. I don't know, but it's just really crazy impressive. Here you can kind of see the Sinanju, normal Sinanju thrusters back here, and some of the work that the modeler did on the back skirt, which is just really wild. And then down here, look at this. Really, really cool stuff. 1/100 scale. 1/100 scale. Crazy. Let's see. You've got this wild Barbatos with this big, crazy weapon, right? Nice big old backpack and everything, kind of in a Titan's color. You've got this really super detailed 1/100 scale Barbatos, obviously before the Master Grade came out. So this is just a full mechanics version. But yeah, the Barbatos obviously was big that year, for good reason. And then you've got some really impressive dioramas here. You've got a Jabera Tetra coming out of some rubble and stuff like that here. Really, really cool stuff. So, and we're going to wrap this up here in just a few minutes, guys, because I do want to try to get a little work done here, even though we've got 20 minutes left in this stream. So, but that's such a cool... Look at that, how that Zagok has just gotten eaten by the elements and everything. Just super cool. Super cool. And then you just got wild, crazy things like this, right? Just crazy shit. Got a modified new Verka down here. Really, really nice stuff. But then the really cool part about all of the issues from Orazaku are the entries pages, the other entries pages, right? And it's just like a catalog of entries that they just go through and spotlight and give, post the pictures and everything. And this just goes on for pages and pages and pages, right? Let's get out of here so we can kind of... And there you can kind of see. It's literally like a catalog of custom models, which is just wild. Because there are some amazing builds held within these pages here, right? I could sit here and just look through these catalog of entries just for hours. Just for hours. I mean, look at this little guy. Let's get you zoomed in. Let's see this. This right here. It's a goldfish ball. How cool is that? Right? It's a goldfish ball. I don't know. I think it's cool. You may not agree. I think it's awesome though. But yeah, so, and here, this is a good shot of the judges at work. They pour through all of these photos, right? Of all models. And they just go to town. Now, one other one I want to show you here, which I think is pretty damn funny, is somebody modeled a GBWC trophy. Let's see. Oh, we're gonna have to super zoom that one. Let's see. Get it centered up here for that. There we go. And bang. Come on. It's pretty funny. I find it pretty funny. But it's a Zaku GBWC trophy. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Think about it. To model that, number one, and then to have the balls enough to enter it into Zaku. Respect. Respect given to this particular model. Yeah. And it's what's really funny is look at the name. Call Me the Champion. By Sonic, I guess, is the modeler's handle. Yeah, you're the champion, buddy. You are definitely the champion. Oh man. You know what? Any schmo can make a Yak Dog out of a Sinanju Stein. Not everybody can make a Zaku GBWC trophy. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Kenneth Sim says that's from Taiwan. Yeah. Well, obviously this is in later years, and they had opened it up to other select Asian countries. So, yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. All right. So let's wrap up the field trip, shall we? There we go. All right. So, you guys, that's Zaku. That's what we, or I should say, some of us would really love to enter one day, just to see what would happen, what could happen. Yeah. So, time will tell, and fingers crossed, right? Fingers crossed. Cheers, everybody. Chris Pabs is over there on Facebook. He says, well, damn, Tim, making me feel bad about a planned build. What are you trying to build here, Chris? Trying to build yourself a GBWC trophy? Come on, man. That's not how you win them. I know you could do it, but it's not how you win them. It's funny. Anyway. All right. So, with that being said, let's see. What are we going to work on? We've got about 15 minutes. I don't want to get too deep in the weeds on something right now, simply because I have shit to do afterwards. So, let's take it back. Let's take it back to the knee, shall we? Let's get this design going here. Now, what I did here was obviously made both of the notches here that you can see And that's zoomed all the way in, good. And then these two side detail pieces here, I outline scribed around those, so those have some nice depth to them now. But this front part is still kind of raw, still sparse, so to speak. And let's see, where's the Verka? Here we go. Here's the... Well, the Verka knee is actually pretty sparse as well, but you do have those kind of trapezoidal notches there. You do have, you know, these that bar detail like we have kind of on that, you know, on our version of the knee. We kind of have that there. You got the two side vents, which are going to be approximated by these two side vents here. So we kind of have those details just in different placements, right? Now on the Verka, you do have that, you know, kind of white base, those decals there that take up space and look really good on those knees. But then if you pull out the Origin Master Grade, you look at the knees, and they've definitely got a different aesthetic to them, right? Let's see, you've got and you've got, you know, you got some nice bend in that knee too, which is going to, you know, essentially be lost on the Jesta, because the Jesta's knee doesn't bend like that and articulate, which for me is not a big deal. That's not a deal breaker at all. Not even a little bit. But you've got some really, really nice scribed in panel lines and stuff like that there that I think I do want to try and replicate, at least in spirit, right? Maybe not directly, but at least get the feel of something like that, right? And I think what I want to do is maybe some sort of additive detail, so plating, right? So I'm thinking something along those lines. Now, before we jump into that, obviously we're going to need to come up with a concept before, you know, you just don't want to go throwing plastic down or some weird and bad things will happen. If you guys remember last year, the picket fence shields for the Zaku, that was ugly and really a bad idea. And we had to rip all that off, and I had to do a lot of work to fill all that in and make that look pretty again. But we did make it look pretty again. So I wanted to try and avoid that type of mistake again, right? So we got our pencil, we've got our knee part here. Let's just start drawing and figure out what we want to do, yeah? What I figure... And what I think I want to do is do sort of a square type of detail right here. And I'm taking these lines off of the edge of this detail piece here, right? So we're going to have that lined up. We're going to come down to right about where that angle break is, that surface break. And this is just going to be kind of just a nice, simple, square type of piece. Just like that. Just a simple square. We're going to start off with that. That's going to be our base for this particular detail, right? Now, one of the things that I also want to do is do some recessed detail in this. So what I figure is this particular piece is probably going to be a 0.5 millimeter tall off of the surface, and then we're going to split this up between quarter millimeter levels, right? That'll give us a nice thin detail, but it'll give us some really cool surface texture, right? And what I want to do is kind of bring that piece, that 1/4 millimeter piece up kind of like this, right? But then also recess that back into the square piece, kind of like this, right? And then we can go ahead and get rid of that middle line there. Let's fill these lines back in here. Okay. So that's kind of where we're going to start off with. That's going to be our jumping off point, right? So this portion, this little square right here, this will be only a 1/4 millimeter high, where this bigger portion will be 1/2 millimeter high. So this portion here will be recessed, this portion will be taller. So that will actually be additive plate detail, right? Now we want to go and kind of figure out what kind of lines we want to draw in, right? So what I'm going to do for that, since we know this is additive, we're just going to draw some faint lines in here just to let us know that, hey, this is going to be raised plastic and not panel lines or anything like that, right? Now, obviously, we're going to outline scribe all this stuff, and that's going to separate that. That's going to give us a kind of a faux shadow when we get into paint. Because when we go to panel line this, that's going to fill in, and it's just going to make a really, really nice part separation look, but it's going to be kind of a fake look, right? Because this is all going to be one piece. So keep that in mind. So we've got some nice, since this is going to be additive, it's going to be kind of in the same level as these two side pieces. So that's going to play off of each other. That's going to be a nice look, I think. Now, obviously down here, we're a little sparse on detail, and that's not a bad thing, though. That's not a bad thing, though, because we can have, you know, a rather nice, you know, decal treatment like right here, or even kind of something under here that you know, gives us some sort of warning, right? But what I think I want to do is just have maybe another 1/4 millimeter piece, maybe add an angle here to follow the angles on the shin or on the knee portion here, and just have that come down kind of like that, right? So just have a little taper, just a bit, just following the angles of the knee itself. I think I like that so far, right? Good additive detail. And we're going to cross hatch that as well, just to let us know that that is going to be plastic sheet and not just a panel line. Now, let's see. What we can do here is we can bring a panel line. Now, we could start in the middle, but I'm not really feeling that. I'm thinking maybe 3/4 down on this thing, right? Just like that. And then wrap this around to this side. And then what we're going to do, come in from this, and this is the thing, right? And let's get you zoomed in so you can kind of see what I'm trying to explain here to you, because this comes into like panel line design, right? Which is very challenging. I'm not going to sit here and bullshit you guys. It's challenging to come up with panel line designs, logical panel line designs, right? Any idiot can go out and just, you know, draw some lines on there that look cool, but to really come up with something logical, that's the challenge. That's the challenge. And even somebody like Josh, you know, you guys know Josh Dara, good friend of mine. We talk about, you know, the aesthetics, the techniques, the thought that goes into it sometimes. This is what we're talking about, you guys. This is what we're talking about. So we've got this corner right here. You want to utilize that corner, right? So bring in a panel line off of that, right? And then what we can do, mimic that angle coming up like this, and then pop it over like that. And now look at that. Now this whole upper part of that knee is a completely different panel, right? Completely different panel. And now what you can do, which would be really, really cool, is do just like a little notch right there, right? It's pretty cool. I'm liking that so far. Let's just kind of darken that up a little bit if we can. There we go. So far, so good. Now, we're going to do the same thing to the other side. And we'll pull measurements off of one of the sides before we go committing to, you know, the actual design, right? We'll mimic that notch here, right? So there we go. There's our mirror image on both sides. And now you can see kind of the logical separation of things. You've got this panel here that's going to be raised, which is going to be a completely separate panel, meaning the mechanics can remove that and get to the knee actuators and stuff like that behind it. But they can also, if need be, remove this entire top section here and get to whatever's underneath of that. Or just replace that, because you could kick somebody, you could kick another mech with that, right? It's just an idea. Just an idea. So that's a good start to this thing, right? So, Edwin RSA, guys, I have a question. Which store in Akihabara is selling BMC chisels? Dude, Volks right in Akihabara. It is right above, what is it? Anime Circus, I think is the name. It's right outside of the Akihabara train station. If you walk outside and you look at the, you know, the streets and everything, if you look on the left-hand side, there's going to be a big old red and white building there. Volks is, I believe, at or near the top of that building, right? Edwin, what I would say is this. Jump on USA Gundam Store and download Zach's shopping guide. Zach Aurelius' shopping guide from there. You can either pay or you can get it for free. It's kind of one of those deals where if you want to pay for it, you can, but you don't have to. It's the same exact guide, right? Jump on there and get that. That is going to help you, right? Hobby Paradise. I don't know why I keep forgetting that name. Mainly because I don't really care. Because it's all about Volks for me. Volks is the best tool store in all of Akihabara. Hands down. Simple. That's the simplest way I can put it. They have BMCs. They have all sorts of other really high-end chisels. Like, higher end than BMCs, you guys. Like, chisels that are like $80 a piece. Yeah. Stupid expensive stuff. But that's where I would go. And that's where I have gone both times when I went to Japan. First time I went to Japan, I think I dropped about $200 or $300 in there. I knew I was going to, so I saved money and with the intent to do that. But this last time I didn't even actually spend a penny in there. Go figure. I guess I got everything I needed the first time, right? But yes, Edwin, that's what I would do. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Enjoy your trip if you're going, buddy. Chris R says, I have refilled in my lines like 4 times on my Dom. LOL, not happy with them. Yeah. It happens, dude. Happens to all of us. I've done that plenty of times. So, just, you know, draw your lines on first. And hopefully you like them. So, anyway. So let's continue on with this here real quick. What time is it? 11:59. Okay, cool. So we're just going to do a couple more lines here real quick. A couple more panel lines, and then we'll call it a night, shall we? So I think that's probably going to be a good thing. Now, since we started off of this corner is a little too tight, a little too close in proximity to this corner, so I don't want to necessarily bring a panel line off of there, right? What we can do is we can just start somewhere along this line. I mean, hell, we can even start down here on this corner if we really wanted to, right? But what I think we're going to do is I think we're going to bring up a nice perimeter panel line right here along the front, right? Just right along that surface break. Right there. We're going to transfer this over there. And then we're going to bring this down the other side. Just like that. right? Now, what we're also going to do is we are going to do a little horizontal notch in this thing right there. Yeah. See, I like that. I like that a lot. And then what we can do down here, close to the bottom, is do just a simple little notch right there. And another one right about there. So now what you've got, you've got this kind of nice big panel here that opens it up for decals and stuff like that. Let's take a look at it on the leg itself, right? So there it is on the leg itself, and you can see those panel separations. Now, what we're probably gonna do is, you know, have maybe a decal down here, and then again, like I said, one right here to emphasize this, right up here to emphasize this long horizontal notch there, right? And then obviously we can put, you know, little itty bitty ones over here next to these little notches, and then hell, if we wanted to, we could put some insignias or something like that on the front here. These are going to be flat, just normal panels, right? And then over here, if we wanted, we could do a reinforcement strip right along the side here, kind of like that, right? Just a little strap of plastic right there, just to give it a little visual pop on the sides there, right? Just like that. Yeah. I like this so far. I like this a lot so far. So that is going to be our design, right? And then hell, even if we wanted to get really kind of into the weeds a little bit, what we could do is just do just a little thing. Just right up here. Just a little deal right there. Nothing crazy, you know. And we would wrap that panel line around to the back here, you know, just like that. And that would just be just a simple access panel. But there's that. Get you out of super zoom here, and we're gonna wrap this up here for the night, you guys. Come on, 1x. There we go. Now we're in business. All right, cool. So there's that. So there's kind of the initial look of the panel lines and just a little bit of plating. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. And even if we wanted to get a little, just even a little stupid, what we could do is we could just do a little floating notch, just a little offset thing right there. And right there. Yeah, look at that. That's going to catch the panel line fluid, and that's just going to look, that's going to look really nice. And that would open up an area for a decal. Something like that. Yeah. I dig it. As Julio says, I'm with it. I'm with it. Cool. Good shit. Good shit. All right, let's catch up with the chat before we take off, you guys. Just real quick, yeah. Let's see. Terry T says, make sure to get your purchase tax free if you're spending more than $50. Yes, a lot of places in Akihabara do that. They will, if you spend so much, you get tax free, which is really nice. Make sure to show them your passport, obviously. Mikhail Thomas Henry's over there on Facebook. He says, hey, dude, real sick meeting you at the sushi spot in Diver City. It was such a surreal moment, right? That was a good moment. That was really, really fun. Like, I had to go to Japan to get recognized. Like, come on. That was awesome. But yeah, dude, it was great meeting you. Thank you for that. That was... Me and Zach were definitely talking about that afterwards. We were just like, we got to come to fucking Japan to get recognized. Like, come on. But it was fun. Edwin RSA says, thanks everyone. A friend is going to Japan and gonna hit up Akihabara, and he asked me if I want to get something while he was there. Nice. Good friend. Ultraman Dino Luis, he says, there are several stores in Akihabara that carry modeling tools, but like Tim says, Volks is king, but there are tons of other places. There are. Volks just seems to have the best selection, the best prices, the highest concentration of tools in all of Tokyo. Yeah. He says, I've been to Akihabara several times and I still haven't been to all the cool stores there, right? Inked Gumpla's over there on Twitch. He says, what up? What's going on? Luis says, I'm going to be in Tokyo the last week of this month. What? For work? Nice, dude. And I'm hoping to hit up some of those stores. I'm going to use Zach's guide. Yeah, absolutely, dude. That guide is a lifesaver. Like, in 2016, I went over there, and he had not published the guide as of yet, and but he had videos. And, I had a little pocket Wi-Fi, so I had internet access and everything. And I'm sitting there in the middle of fucking Akihabara, trying to watch his videos, trying to figure out where to go. Stupid funny moment, but what are you gonna do, right? Brandon 5269 says, if anyone is going to Japan soon and wouldn't mind picking me up a Wave T-Square, I would greatly appreciate it, right? Man, oh man. Yeah, those would be great to have here in the States. So, anywho. All right, you guys, we're going to be back here on Wednesday. Programming note for Friday. Friday's kind of up in the air at this point. It's our regular mechanism week, but it's Valentine's Day. So the gang and I have been talking a little bit today. It's probably not going to be a normal mechanism. I'm definitely not going to be on, but there could be a possibility of someone else taking the reins this time around and doing kind of a kind of Valentine's Day edition of Mechanism, right? So we're still kind of talking about it. We're still debating, so don't get your hopes up. Chances are there may not be anything happening Friday, but I'm definitely going to be back here on Wednesday, and we're going to be continuing this thing, and we'll take it from there, and we'll continue to kick its ass, right? Clippinism, Julio, yeah. I still like I still like Frankie's, but hey, what are you gonna do? Anyway, like and subscribe's over there on YouTube. He says hello. What's going on, dude? Good to see you. We're about wrapping up, so but good stuff. Good stuff. All right, you guys. I am going to check out. I gotta hit the gym. I will see you all on Wednesday. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Be safe out there. Build something cool. We'll see you Wednesday. All right.